Well, thank you everyone for joining this session with us today. My name is Thiago. I am your customer success manager here at TagoRUN. Very happy to be here and share with you some of the amazing features of the TagoRUN module. Everyone got into the situation where I got my device connected, I got my dashboard built, data is coming through, my dashboard looks nice. So what now, right? What's the next step? So how do I deploy this and customize in order to have the best result and the best feedback from my customers? So today we're going to be talking about exactly that. How do I get to brand my application? How do I get my logo in and add some custom features that are extremely valuable to the end result of the application? Of course, it's nice for you to have a dashboard, you have the data coming through, but a very important thing is to make a dashboard look nice, has a nice appearance from the end user. It's user friendly, good to have a nice feedback on the information that's coming through, a nice game of colors. And this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna work on top of making your application beautiful and and optimize the user experience with the intention to gather more and more customers always. So as we do in all webinars, please feel free to post your question on the Q&A. If you have a question in the middle of the webinar, that's not a problem. I'll gather your question here for the end. Please feel free to present yourselves on the chat. Some of you already know me. Some of you, we haven't been in touch already, but I'll be more than happy to talk with you. The best way to contact me as a CSM is through requesting a demo on the platform or simply contacting us through the contact form. And we can gather on details on how to make your solution beautiful, scalable, and get your customers in. So some of the modules that we're going to be talking about today is main configuration. So basic is title, subtitle, browser, favicon, how to place your logo on the application, your domain itself. Do you have a white label? Do you don't have a white label? So how can you manage this? How can you make it look nice? Navigation bar. How can you change the colors? This walks together here with advanced configuration as well. You can change all the color scheme on the application. It's a matter of getting here and putting all this together. So we're going to go through that as well. We have here general as well, where you can see examples of how that will look like on the output of your platform. Sign up page. What fields do I need for my customer to sign in, right? Do I need a first name, last name, email, passport, any other fields? What kind of sign up method would I use? So that's talking about usability, multi-language feature, our sidebar. So how do I add buttons? How do I add icons? Make certain dashboard visible for certain clients. You're able to do that, right? It's just a matter of getting here, using the right tools, and applying that concept. Email templates is a great feature that we're going to talk about as well. We do need nice templates to send alerts, send messages to the end user, generate information about what's going on with his application. We're going to go through all that today. And that being said, I'm gonna pass it over to Matt, which is a front-end developer with us today. And he's gonna be presenting all these cool features for us in order to deploy an amazing application out there.
Okay, thank you very much, Thiago. I'll share my screen now. Okay, so Thiago, can you see my screen? Is everything all right?
Everything loud and clear.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, hello everyone. As Thiago said, my name is Matt. I am one of the front-end developers here at TagoRUN, and today we're going to be covering how you can do branding in your TagoRUN platform. I'm very excited to be presenting this, so let's get started. So to kick things off, just as Thiago has mentioned, we need to understand a bit about what TagoRUN is, right? So once you build your dashboards, your application, you have to have a place where you have to deploy this solution to your end users. So it's not a good idea for you to generate templates of dashboards or even share specific resources in your application. The ideal way is for you to use TagoRUN to build your application and then deploy that application, that dashboard, in a specific website, a portal, a platform that is designed for your end user. So to get started, let's head over to our run here. So I'm just going to click run. I'm in a simple account, so we have a fresh start here for us to play around with. And just as Thiago has mentioned, this is the main configuration of your TagoRUN. At the bottom here, we have a link, and this is the link that people, your users, will use to access your application. So this is your TagoRUN address. Everyone will access the application through this link. And we have a couple of fields here that we need to customize in order to apply the branding in our TagoRUN. So we have the title, the subtitle, the browser icon, and the logo. These are the main fields here. So these are the most important things. So let's start with the title. So here I have samples app because this is the app of my sample account. So let's change this. Let's sort of configure or customize an application where we are a company that tracks assets, right? So we know the location of all trucks of our company, and we know exactly where the assets are. So this is basically our premise here, if you will. So the title will be Tracker Application. I think this is a good name. And then for the subtitle, this is sort of your company's slogan. So the title is what will appear in the browser tab of your custom website. So in this case, where it says run, it will say, in this case, Tracker Application, right? And the subtitle is what will appear in the navigation bar. So if you look at the preview right here, it says samples app, very tiny because this is a tiny preview. But if I change this to something like the best tracker in the world, you can see that the preview has sort of mirrored our text and it shows up in the navigation bar. So it's very easy to see what your TagoRUN will look like with the modifications that you are doing right here in the edit page. And in this case, we're being very confident in our subtitle, in our slogan, saying we are the best asset tracker in the world. And that's very nice. Now, moving on to the next field, we have the browser icon. And this is the icon that will appear right by the text up here in the browser tab. So where it shows IO, this is Tago's IO browser icon, we can actually customize with our very own. Now, I already have prepared a very nice logo here, so I'm just going to be pasting it right here. I used my file system in Tago.io to add a logo there. And for the actual logo, not just the browser icon, I already have the same logo. So I'm just going to be pasting it right here as well. And as you can see, the preview is actually very smart. Once you do any kind of modification in the fields, it understands that and it shows the modification for you right here in different devices. So this is how it will look like in a mobile device. This is for a laptop, and this is for a tablet. So this is our main my company, actually, because this is just a sample company, so a generic logo will suffice. Okay, and this is the main configuration. So this is the base of our application, right? But it isn't good enough for us to start sending our application or sharing our application, actually, with our customers. If you think about it, this domain, this address right here is, as I have mentioned, what users will click on to access the application. And it doesn't look good at all. This long ID here doesn't really make much sense. It's bad for CEO. Users don't really remember it. So we have to change this. It's a must, right? And to change this, you head over to domain, as Thiago has mentioned in the beginning of the presentation. Now, keep in mind, it shows the browser icon here that I have configured before. Since I am using the same logo in the browser icon, it doesn't really look that good. Ideally, what you would do is have a custom logo for your brand, your company, and then have a tiny version that fits the browser icon. But since this is just a demo, I just wanted to show you what is possible in the application. But either way, here we have a nice preview. So the domain tab allows you to customize everything related to domains. On the left side, we have the domain of the actual website, your actual portal, your actual platform. And on the right side, we have the domain of your email. So this is the email that users will receive from. In this case, it says no reply with that long ID .run.tago.io. Again, this isn't ideal, so we must change that. And since we are developing an asset track company, I think a good name would be maybe Tracker App. I think that's fitting, right? So let's type Tracker App. And as you can see, once I have typed that, the URL at the bottom has been updated. The domain of the actual website also has been updated, as well as the email domain. It says no reply, trackerapp.run.tago.io. Okay, so we have a very basic TagoRUN configured. We still haven't seen our TagoRUN functioning, so let's do that. Let's actually save our TagoRUN right here. Let's press save. And once we press save, it's going to deploy, it's going to activate our TagoRUN, and successful, we were able to activate our run. So let's just click here to close and open our tracker app in a new tab. Awesome. So here we are. In order for us to actually get to the contents of our TagoRUN, to view dashboards and that sort of stuff, we must have an account, because TagoRUN works by identifying each user uniquely. So to see the contents, we must have credentials, right? I already have prepared a user here for us to access, and I'm not going to be covering access management and users in this webinar. We do have some other webinars where we cover that. So this whole setup where we brand your TagoRUN does require a bit of knowledge in this whole TagoRUN scenario. You need to understand what are users, what is access management, and you can learn all that through past webinars and our documentation. Either way, though, here we have it. We have a slightly branded logo here. We have a slightly branded page, but we can improve this because, of course, it doesn't look ideal, right? And so let's just log in to see what it looks like on the inside. So my user is called John Doe at tago.io. Of course, doesn't need to be tago.io. And I'm just going to be typing my password here and signing in. Awesome. Here I am inside of my application, and you can see we have a sample dashboard. Doesn't really mean much, so don't worry, guys, if you don't get it. This doesn't really have to do anything with asset tracking. This is just a temperature history, so don't worry about the contents of the dashboard. This is just a general demo. What I do want to talk about is the colors, right? So we do have a My Company up here on the top because we use the logo in the main configuration of our TagoRUN, but the colors don't really add up if you think about it. This sort of blue color of TagoRUN doesn't really match our orange, so doesn't really look that good. And as Thiago has mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, we can change this very easily, actually. So let's head over back to our run right here, go over to navigation bar and change these colors. Now, I already have some colors copied on my clipboard, so I'm just going to be pasting them right here. And as you can see, this color doesn't really look that good. The navigation bar sort of meshes with the My Company logo. So let's change that. Let's put a sort of dark gray color here. There we go. That looks much better. I'm just going to be copying this code and applying it to the buttons in order for them to also have this sort of gray color. Awesome. And we can also customize the navigation bar text. So, but I think in this case, white actually looks good. And for the notification amount, I'm just going to be copying a custom color and pasting right here. There we go. So it sort of matches the orange in the My Company with the notification amount, which is the bell icon in our TagoRUN. I'm just going to be saving this project of ours, going back to our webinar here. I'm sorry, to our TagoRUN and refreshing the page. And as you can see, changes are immediate. Once I save there, it automatically updates if you refresh the page in real time. Awesome. So now we kind of understand how colors work. And if you want to get back to the default, you can always hit reset these colors. But of course, it's usually a good idea for you to keep the colors on because, of course, this is a branding tutorial after all. Okay, Awesome. So I think the next step for us here, since we already have a slightly branded application, is for us to see it in different scenarios. In this case, we already have the view of a browser, so a computer. I think a good idea for us would be to actually take a look in a mobile app. So let's pull a mobile app right here. And this is a simulator of a mobile application using the TagoRUN app. Now, this app is available on Android on the Play Store and on iOS on the App Store. So you're free to download it. And you can insert a TagoRUN domain right here and basically visualize and interact with the whole TagoRUN domain with a simple mobile device. So in this case, the TagoRUN domain that we want to enter is trackerapp.run.tago.io. So let's type that. Let's type tracker app. And as you can see, it autofills .run.tago.io. So let's just press enter. Awesome. As you can see, this is the same sign-in page that we have outside. So in this case, I'm just going to be putting the same credentials that I have typed outside, which is John Doe at tago.io. And the password is a very simple password, webinar123, and sign in. Awesome. Now we are inside of the application in our mobile app. And this is very, very exciting because you can see that we have the same view of the browser right here in the mobile application. If we click this sample dashboard, which again, just as a reminder, is a simple dashboard, a generic one, just for us to understand the concepts of dashboard, but this isn't really the focus, right? And as you can see, we can see the whole data, we can see the time, everything that is behind us in the browser, we can see it right here. So this is pretty awesome. Of course, it also works like the browser in the sense that if I do any sort of modification in the actual TagoRUN project, it will reflect right here. All you have to do is refresh right here. Or for bigger things such as colors and logo, you may have to exit and enter the app once again. Awesome. Now, moving on out of the mobile application, I just wanted to show this because I think this is really interesting, especially if you are planning on having a mobile application in your TagoRUN. Awesome. Now, let's go back to our TagoRUN and let's sort of focus towards our next feature, right? Which is email templates. As Thiago has mentioned, actually, just before I go with the email templates, I do want to touch on the sign-up page, right? Because the sign-up page looks very bland still. So before we move on to the templates, let's go over to the sign-up page. This sign-up page doesn't really have that much sort of that spice, right? If you think about it, it doesn't really add that much to our company. It looks very bland. So let's change that. Let's improve it and make it very beautiful, because if you think about it, this is the entry point of people in our application. Everyone that accesses it will have to log in to actually use it. So this is a very important screen. So let's head over to our theme right here, and we can customize all the colors just as the navigation bar. But more importantly, we can also customize the background, and this really changes a lot. If you guys paid attention at the beginning of the presentation, Thiago showed a very beautiful sign-up page with a bunch of people walking and a city skyline in the background. And this sort of stuff really attracts people because they keep seeing the animation and it just looks awesome. So you can customize the background in one of three ways. You can set an image, you can set a video, or you can set even a solid color. Now, the last one isn't really that interesting if you think about it, but the image and video really are. So to start or to kick things off here, let's grab a image, which I already have copied here. Let's go to image and paste our background image. Awesome. So as you can see, this is an image of a bunch of containers because we are a company that tracks assets. And the cool thing here is that you can mess around with the opacity and the tint to have a very nice effect. This sort of movie theater effect, right? Sort of faded. So you can mess around with the opacity, maybe drag a bit lower, maybe drag a bit higher, whatever you prefer. And you can also change the tint. So in this case, the tint is black, which gives this very nice vibe here, but you can also change it to white in order to have this very nice and light sort of contrast here. In this case, though, I think the black is much better. So let's just mess around with the opacity. And before we actually save our application, let's drag the form opacity a bit lower. And the form opacity is basically the opacity of the form behind, which will be in front actually of the background. So as you can see, it's sort of transparent, right? About halfway transparent, if you think about it. And one last thing before we actually save it, let's change the button color. So let's change it to the main color of our application, which is a orange color. And as you can see, the sign up already has been modified, and I think it looks amazing. So let's just save this. And by saving it, it will activate our TagoRUN. So let's just click here to close, go over to our My Company website, click on My Account and sign out. Let's refresh the page. And as you can see, it looks amazing. A bunch of containers in the back. Just by looking at this, you can kind of understand what this company is all about. We can, though, go one step further. If we go back to our TagoRUN and then insert a video in the background, it will look amazing. So select video and paste a video, which again, you can use our file system to set a video, right? To basically upload a video and then copy the URL and paste it right here. As you can see, this video looks really cool because it's a city in the background, and you can see that we're kind of moving forward, right? So we're seeing the whole city, and we are, as a company, moving forward. I think that's really cool. If we save this and wait for our run to be activated, and then refresh the page once again, there we go. We have this very nice video. This really captivates people. I swear, it's amazing. So, okay, we have our very, now this is a very branded sign up page, right? Login page. Now that we have a very branded application, we can then move forward to the email templates. And this is a very interesting feature because here is where you can really be creative in more ways than one. You can customize it to your heart's content. So let's go over to email templates, and we have two right here by default. And these two are pre-programmed email templates, which are sent when certain actions happen in the system, and you cannot turn them off. These are by default, and whenever something happens in the system, they are sent to an user. So in this case, the welcome email template is an email that will be sent whenever a user signs up to use your application. So it says, hi, name, which is going to be the name of the user, welcome. Before you start to enjoy all the features, click here with the confirmation link to confirm your email. And this is what the user will see when he receives the email. So where it says name, it's going to show the name of the actual user and a link for him or for her to confirm the email or confirm their account, right? Now, this looks pretty cool. I mean, it does the job, right? It's a template, but it wouldn't be a TagoIO webinar if we didn't sort of talk about tips and tricks, right? And it's really important for you to know that to sort of understand how to best utilize our features. One thing that many people don't know here is that you can actually use HTML. Since HTML is interpreted by email providers, Google and Microsoft and so on and so forth, you can actually use HTML here. So I do have an HTML code copied here. I'm just going to be exiting out of preview and pasting it right here. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to be, there we go. And if I do hit preview here, it does look a lot better. Of course, it's not ideal, I admit that. Design was never my forte, right? But if you think about it, it does look a lot better than what we used to have. Again, where it says name, it is going to be showing the name of the user that signed up, as you can see on the variables right here at the bottom. And the link, it shows click here to confirm the email. And at the bottom, it says sent with love by my company. And my company is the logo that we have set up here. Awesome. Now, again, a very nice tip that many people, for some reason, don't really seem to understand is that you can actually test this email before you deploy it to production, right here on the top right. It says send test email, and this is just a test, so nothing too fancy. And once you click this, it's gonna send this template as an email to the email that you have in your account. So in this case, it's gonna send to my email right here. Of course, I'm not gonna, if I did send it, I'm not gonna enter into my email and find this email, but I did take a picture before we started presenting, and this is what it would look like. So once somebody registered in the application, this is what they would receive. Welcome, John Doe. Again, this is just a test that I did, so of course I picked John Doe. It says welcome once again. And then before you start to enjoy the features, click here to confirm your email. And then he or she can click here to confirm their email. The My Company logo is presented as we have seen, and it says sent with love by my company. As you can see, the spaces are a bit different than our preview. Our preview does try its best to make sure that it does look a lot like an actual email, but sometimes that's not possible, simply because there are too many email providers. So it does its best to try to interpret the HTML, but sometimes there are slightly differences, which is why you should really send the test email before you deploy this email to, or this email template to production. Okay, we also have a password recovery. It's the same thing, basically, and this is going to be sent when somebody recovers or actually requests a password recovery link. So maybe one of your users sort of lost their password and they want to get back or change the password. So this is the email. Once they click the feature in our TagoRUN, they would receive this email right here. And you can actually create templates of emails. So for instance, you could create my new template right here. And as I have mentioned, the welcome and password recovery are pre-programmed, so you cannot change their functionality, only their visuals. But with the custom templates, you can send them whenever you want via analysis. So whenever certain events occur that are specific to your business logic, you can invoke an analysis, which in turn will invoke this email template, and then you can send this email template to one or many users, whatever you prefer. And this is a really powerful feature. So you can, so for instance, if somebody deactivates a certain resource that is specific to your business logic, you can then send an email, maybe confirming the action or notifying the person of their action. Okay. So I think this is it for email templates. Now, one of the last things that I do want to mention here is sidebar buttons. So if we go back to our application and then log in once again, so John Doe at Tago.io, and then let's set our password here. There we go. And we are inside of our company. Now, our sidebar doesn't look that good. Let's be honest here. It only has one dashboard. I mean, it's kind of bland, right? Once again. So let's improve that. Let's add some sidebar buttons. And sidebar buttons is a feature which allows you to create customized buttons, sort of like the ones we have here. So you can sort of create this whole grid scheme in your own application. By default, it does have only one sidebar button, which is disabled, which is the home sidebar button, but we don't want that. So let's just change the text to blog. We're going to be putting two sidebar buttons, one that has a link to our Tago.io blog, just so you guys understand how easy it is to link pages, and another one that has a customer support form. For the blog, we're just going to pick this icon right here. And for the color, we must pick our company color to really make sense, right? And the action of the button is show iframe. As you can see, just as soon as we did that, the button showed up in our preview right here. For those of you who don't understand, iframe is basically a link to a page, right? If this is the most basic definition. So for the iframe URL, let's put tago.io/blog. There we go. Now, once we click this blog button, the content of the page will appear as the blog, but we do want another one. So let's create a new one called support, which has this very nice icon right here. And for the color, let's put Tago.io's main color. And it's also going to be opening an iframe. So let's just paste the iframe right here. And this is a Google Forms basically asking for feedback or for support, right? A user can click on the button and then specify their information and basically get support from our company, which is named My Company. Now you can add these buttons in a new line, so you can do some pretty fancy layout structures with this. As you can see, just by clicking this, the preview is affected. But let's not get too fancy here because we are running out of time. And let's just hit save. So let's save right here. Awesome. Let's go back to our My Company, TagoRUN, and refresh the page. And as you can see, it looks pretty cool. We have a blog button and a support button. Now our blog button basically shows the Tago.io blog. Doesn't really make sense, right? But of course, to your company, it maybe would, right? Maybe put the blog of your company's main website for people to understand the news and that sort of stuff. And for support, we have a Google form. So this is the support center. So if a user is having trouble, they can click this and get support, right? Awesome. Okay, so I think these are most of the features that I wanted to show you, but one last thing that I do want to mention or actually show you guys, see, I did save the best for last, and this is a sneak peek to a new feature that we are developing. And this is basically a reward for everyone that is watching this live. And I think it will really help for everyone that is trying to brand their application, but most importantly, trying to speed up their development when it comes to dashboard colors, right? So if we go over to our sample dashboard here, you guys have seen this in the beginning of the presentation. We have a sample dashboard with a very nice sunset in the background. We have a temperature card, and we have a bunch of other widgets that are all white, right? They have no color whatsoever, maybe some small color right here in orange, but it doesn't really look that good, right? And in the past, if you guys did have some experience with dashboards, once you customize a single widget, you would have to go to the next widget, copy the colors from the first, and then paste them somewhere so you can remember, and then head over to the next widget and paste it once again. And you would have to do that for each widget in your application. And it's sort of a pain if you think about it. It doesn't really add that much to the development. Sometimes you want to change the whole color scheme of your dashboard, and then you sort of give up just because you have 30 widgets in your dashboard and you have to go through each one and change the colors. But we have developed a feature which will be heading to production in the upcoming days, where it's sort of like a theme color. Like, not exactly, but it's sort of like. So here I have a single card widget called temperature, where it says 65. We are missing the unit here, but don't worry about that. And what we want to do is basically replicate this color over to other widgets in a click of a button, really. So to do so, let's head over to our customized beta testing environment. Since, again, this isn't in production yet, just want to make this clear, it is going to be in production in the upcoming days. So this is why I have this very strange address at the top right here. If I click edit mode, click on my widget and click apply color settings, I have two options: to all widgets or to only the same type. Now, if I did have a card widget which has the same type, it would color only the card widget, but I don't have it. I only have one, and all the other widgets are from different types. So I can click here and then to all widgets. And once I do so, you can see that just by doing that, it's very easy. You colored all your widgets with the same theme color. And of course, this is just a preview. If you want to cancel this action, all you have to do is click cancel. But if you do want to apply, you can click apply right here. And we do want to apply because it looks much better. Now, this feature does try its best to make sure that every property of color is correctly applied. But again, it only tries its best. If you think about it, the card widget doesn't really have a footer, right? But the dynamic table does have it. So this is why there's this slight discrepancy in color schemes, and it's gonna try to apply the best it can do to all other widgets, but it may not work for 100% of the cases. Of course, what you can do is once you apply to all other widgets and there is a tiny feature missing, you can edit manually because it's much more doable once everything is already set up. So if we click here and click on edit, and then here we have it, we're just going to pick colors, grab the header color right here and paste it on the footer. And this took what, like a couple of seconds, right? Because all the other widgets were already set up. Okay, I think this is it for my time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation. This is a feature that is going to be going to production in the upcoming days. Just want to make sure of this. So just a small sneak peek for you guys. And last but not least, just want to make sure that you guys, if you guys have any questions or if you guys are having trouble developing something, make sure you click this little sort of question button where you can get to know our community just by clicking here. So there's a bunch of real nice folks there. You can get to know them. We also have a very detailed documentation center. So if you are feeling a bit lost, make sure you head over here. We also have support. So if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to one of our devs. And we also have videos and the status page for our API. So I think that's it for my side, Thiago. Take it away.
Great presentation, Matt. Thank you so much. From my point of view, it's like message delivery. These are the amazing things that you can do with TagoRUN. And great sneak peek, by the way. It's great to, you know, give it a little taste of what's coming, always improving, always moving forward. That's great. That's the Tago.io spirit. I'm very happy to be a part of it. And looks like we have a question. Is there a way to add sensors on Run using QR code scanning when adding a sidebar button? So that's it's slash functionality slash design, right?
Yeah, for sure. So from what I could understand here, if we go back to our application, basically what they are asking is to add a custom button right here where it has custom functionality, right? And you can actually do that. Right here, we have two buttons. One, they are both linking to pages, but we do have an option for you to make this button link to a dashboard. So if we go back to our run right here very quickly and go over to Sidebar Button, and right here, the action of the button is show iframe. You can actually choose open dashboard and then select a dashboard. Right here, we have two. One is the sample that I've just shown, and we also have a hidden one called ice cream machine and freezer. If you click this, of course, it's gonna say that you need to use access management, but then you can sort of insert an image widget in this dashboard where it has a QR code. If you want to maybe link with an existing QR code to a specific button, that is also possible because each button has a specific link. So this trackerapp.run.tago.io, it has the link of blog. So maybe if you want to link an existing QR code to this page, you want to send users to this page, you can also do that. So it's both ways, right? You can link to this page because each button has a unique URL, and you can also add a dashboard right here in the content with an image widget, which can have a QR code. You just have to create it in your application. And then once the guy or the person scans the QR code, you can do anything that you want. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Matt. All right, I'm gonna give it a few seconds. I don't see any other questions on the Q&A. If anyone has any questions. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I would like to thank Matt for the great presentation. We're gonna be sending this recording for you to recap and go over in detail within your crew. And so no worry about it. I'll shoot it over email. In case you have any further questions in regards to services, to dashboards, and you need some further help, reminder that I am your CSM. I'm here to guide you. Please don't hesitate to contact me. And thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you all in the next webinar.